Well, welcome to another exciting episode of Bowhunt or Die. You know, Justin, this is the time of the year where some of the episodes will start dragging out a little bit because everyone's just waiting for the hunting season to start and actually get out in the woods. But it is a lot of fun to be able to see what deer people are chasing, what they have, and who's made it, and so forth.
Right. I think some of these episodes can be as close to entertaining as you can get, outside of hunting. Todd, it is mid to the end of August at this point. Bucks are pretty much done growing. I know a few of us have started seeing some hard-horn deer already, which basically is just fueling that desire for all of us to get out and hunt. This last month and a half push before the season's open is really when guys really start to get anxious, and for good reason. They've got a lot of great bucks on their trail cameras. So we're going to bring you guys a couple of hit list episodes this week. And first off, I guess we're going to start with Jeff Kay and Craig Roffers up in Wisconsin. They're going to give us an update on their food plot, which we saw earlier this year, and then show us some of the bucks they're going to be chasing this fall.
Alright guys, check it out. It's something like August 5th here in Wisconsin. We just checked the stealth cams. We got a couple real decent bucks here. Corn's coming up pretty decent. The beans look phenomenal. We did 30-inch rows knowing that we were going to put this Buckbuster Extreme down in middle August here between the rows. So we're going to put down the Buckbuster Extreme. We're going to fertilize it, and we're going to shoot some big deer off this plat this fall. Stick with us. Alright guys, we finished up the food plots this morning, checked stealth cams. Now let's go through the hit list. First for me is a buck that we named Bronco. He's a big 4.5-year-old 8-point, and honestly he just showed up. We got several pictures of him, but he's been over on the neighbor kid's land, and we know he's around. He's going to be a good deer.
Second up, we got a buck we're going to call Bridge. He came late season. We found his shed last year. He's summering on the farm this year. We got tons of pictures. He's not really going to blow up in anything. He's 3.5. He's on the list. Third up, we got Titan. He's a monster, as you'll see. He's got like 12-inch brow tines, just a stud of a buck. He's going to be hard to kill, but we've got a couple pictures of him moving through.
And to pretty much sum it up for us, we have a buck that we call Stretch. He's probably a 4-year-old. Got nice brow tines, and that's about it. He's got real short beams, and we're going to try to take him if we can. But either way, the stealth cams are blowing up. The plots are looking good. We just got the Heartland Wildlife Buckbuster in the ground. Hopefully it'll be a great season. Stay tuned this year, guys. Bowhunt or Die.
Bowhunt or Die.
Hey guys, Dalton and Kent here from Central Missouri. We're just going to fill you in on a few of our hit list bucks we got. First off, start with the farm. Been hunting for quite a few years. Had this buck last year we called Ocho. Just a 120-inch 8-pointer last year. This year he's still an 8-pointer, but I believe he's going to make the hit list. He'll probably be 4.5 or 5.5 years old this year, so we're going to chase after him. He brought in this 11-pointer we're calling Maverick, and he's going to be a little better than Ocho is, but no matter which deer, I'm going after Maverick, but if I'm in the stand, I think Dalton might shoot Ocho.
No, if Ocho walks by and it's good camera, anybody that wants to shoot him, shoot him.
But Dalton's also got a few deer on his farm. He's got just a little bit west of here, so I'm gonna let you tell him about it.
Yeah, I got a farm I've been hunting for 10 years now probably, and it's always a really good rut farm. Dexter is my main hit list buck after last year. He lived through, so he's a mainframe 5x5. He's an ice 10, starting to split. And then there was Hollywood. Hollywood is I've known him since he was a baby. He loves the camera. He's all over the camera every year. He'll be 4 this year. Last year he's probably high 20s, low 30s as a 10. Real tight rack. He didn't really come out wide at all. Good brows. Always had kickers off of his brows pointing straight forward is how I tell him from the rest of the deer. So I'll be after those two, and hopefully we can get you updated a little bit whenever I get pictures of them here in the next few weeks.
The next farm we want to talk about is a farm I've been hunting for a few years and had a few shooters on it last year. Ones we've got back this year is a deer we call Flyer. And last year he had 5 points on one side and just a main beam straight point on the other side. And we noticed this, he had a back right leg injury. And this year he's kind of grown out of it. He's still got the injury on his back leg, but his left side, it grew. He's still a non-typical on that side, but he's definitely a shooter in our book. Deer he's running with is a deer we call Jawbreaker. We had pictures of him last year. It's just a real spindly 8-pointer, and this year he put on some mass and some tine length, and we call him Jawbreaker because he's got an overbite on his jaw there. It's kind of funny to look at, but doesn't seem to bother him. But me and Dalton also just picked up a new farm to hunt this year, and I'm gonna let Dalton tell you about a few of the bucks we've got just running a couple weeks of trail cameras on it.
The first one we named Sundance. He's a nice 8-pointer, and then we got a deer called Joker. And we're more curious than anything about this deer because I think personally that he has a double main beam, but it's hard to tell in just the way that the angles he gets his picture taken of.
The main deer I'm after on this farm, we're calling him Jimmy. Don't ask us why, just Jimmy, just stuck with us. But he is a 9-pointer, and he is super wide. He's got some tine length, and just an overall beautiful deer and heavy. Dalton, you got anything else to say?
I don't think so. We'll keep y'all in tune with what shows up later as the year goes by, and I usually have a couple bonus bucks, I like to call them, that show up on my farms that
Bonus bucks are good.
Bonus bucks are the best kind. You don't even know they exist, and there they are. So until we talk to y'all again, we're gonna keep practicing.
Hey, them hit list bucks ain't good unless you can hit them.
Bow hunt or die, baby.
Chad Stillman here at Bowhunting.com. It is August 12th, 2014, checking in from southern Wisconsin. It's been a busy summer for us. Work's been extremely busy for me, so we haven't been out doing as much as we would have liked up to this point in preparation for the bow season. However, we have been out hanging our lone wolf sets, trimming our shooting lanes, and getting, I guess, as ready as we can, given the time we have, for the upcoming season. We have been scouting multiple properties in the area, both properties that I've hunted in the past, hung up some stealth cams, and lo and behold, we got a couple pictures of some decent bucks that we're going to be chasing this year. Now, before I go into my hit list, I need to preface it with I'm a horrible namer of deer. I've named 2 bucks in my life, Buster, which I named last year, season 4, episode 13, and Obsession, who I named a couple years prior to that. Outside of that, I'm just not very creative in naming deer, and I think it's kind of corny. But this year I've taken a very scientific approach and allowed my daughters to name the deer for me. So outside of Buster, who I named last year and I can't rename, he's going to be number 1 on our hit list. Should be probably about 145 to 150 inch buck this year. Had an encounter with him. First encounter was on episode 13 last season, and saw him during the rut on trail camera, and once in December, late season, wasn't able to get him on film. We believe he's still alive, so if he's alive and kicking, he's going to have a target on his side. Buster's going to be number 1 for us. Number 2 is going to be a buck that my youngest daughter affectionately named Horny Head. You heard it right, Horny Head. He has horns on his head, and she named him Horny Head. So, buck number 2 on our hit list this year is showing up in the same area where Buster turned up last year, as well as the buck that we shot earlier. And Horny Head's going to be also on the hit list. Number 3 buck, he's a nice buck. He's got a smaller body, which makes me think he's kind of young, but he's probably going to be about a 4-year-old buck this year. Unless natural causes got him, he should still be around. That buck, our girl's named Sven. So Sven, after the deer in the movie Frozen, which I've seen 900 times, is going to be number 3 on our hit list. Number 4
is a buck that my daughter's named Thumper. Thumper turned up in a bean field close to here. We only got one side, his left side on film, or on the trail camera. The right side was cut off. One thing really interesting about Thumper is his brow tine on his left side is split, and it's probably all of 10 inches long. So he's got some really long brow tines, a cool looking deer, and Thumper is number 4 on the hit list. So other than those bucks, we're going to be finishing the summer off, maybe doing some more 3D shooting, spending time with the family, and just practicing here in the yard. So we love being a part of this team, and we're blessed to be able to put it on film for our viewers to enjoy. So Bowhunter Die 2014. Boom.
All right, today we wanted to head to one of our very best stands first. We're super excited about this spot. This is, we had hunted a little bit down the hill, probably about 80 yards from here. We saw tons of deer here. I had a stealth cam last year pick up my #1 hit list buck called Ghost. He worked this twice. I got a great video of him in the daytime coming in and just working down this edge. We had numerous encounters with deer along the top of this hillside, and we could never see over the hill. Now we got a great view. It's a little bit misty today and raining, so we thought we'd sneak in here, hang a lifeline, double check all our shooting lanes, and we're gonna leave it now till the season. So how's that for battery life? 93% battery, 1,000 pictures, 3 weeks. Not bad at all. So we'll pull that card and leave these batteries. My external battery pack with these new stealth cams is becoming obsolete. Haven't had to use it so far, 0 for 2, but it's a good sign. All right, we just set up our stealth cam and we were walking out and we looked on this deer trail and looked down, and this looks like a broken tine, and we think it is. Haven't touched it yet, but it is. Broken piece of velvet. Velvet buck. Either broke off maybe it was a little spike or something, but that is cool. Wonder how that happened. That's crazy. Bowhunter Die.
You know, Justin, one of the things I enjoy about our show and being able to have all these additional episodes and just have the time to show people more is, you know, it's neat to see Jeff and Craig's food plot when they first started, and really to see what they've built there. I mean, it looks really good.
Yeah, I have to hand it to those guys. I mean, one of the things that we stressed during earlier episodes this year was that, you know, they don't have a ton of financial resources or a bunch of farm equipment or whatever the case may be. They went out and rented some equipment, did a lot of work by hand, and obviously, as we saw, I mean, it really paid off. Their plots look great. You know, hopefully they can capitalize on one of those big bucks that they've got on their trail cameras.
Yeah, and you know, it's neat to see them. You know, what they did is they went with the 30-inch rows, and now, even though they have a beautiful food plot in place, they're going back and putting even additional food in to take advantage of some of the fall planting, you know, putting in some of the brassicas. So that, to me, you know, they're doing everything they can to improve their odds. And you know what? Who doesn't do that when they're deer hunting?
Right. It would be great if it was a guarantee, you know, that you were going to shoot something over those food plots. You know, we've had a lot of guys over the years, whether it be on our forum or on the website or on Facebook, you know, who are opposed to food plots. Some guys say it's bad or it's baiting or it's cheating or whatever the case may be. But, you know, my personal belief has always been those are the people that have never actually put in the time to do a food plot or tried to hunt over one, because it is by no means a guarantee that you're going to shoot something over one of those plots.
Yeah, that is for sure.
And then we also saw Dalton and Kent out in Missouri, and those guys have got some deer.
They've got deer. Let's just leave it at that. They deserve a t-shirt, got deer. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, they have a lot of different deer that they're chasing. I know they're very excited to get out there and have the season start. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some of the footage of these guys later.
Right, and obviously, you know, these are 2 new members for our team for this year. I think this is the first time we've seen them actually in an episode, so there's a lot of people probably going, hey, who are these guys? You know, they are new guys on the team. You know, they sent in their application last year and they went through the process just like we go through every year, and, you know, they made it on board, so hopefully they can do as well as you know, Chad did last year, and Paul Morrison being the rookies on the team last year who really had a strong start. So good luck to those guys out there.
That's definitely a way to put some pressure on them, Justin.
Hey,
a little bit of pressure.
Chad and Paul put the pressure. They set the bar for all future rookies coming onto the team. So I guess next up, you know, now that all that's out of the way, you're going to check in with me and you doing a little food plot action out at our lease.
Yes, it was fun for us to finally get and spend a day together out there and get all those food plots in. I mean, I think we utilized the time the best we could. So take a look.
Well, good morning, guys. It is Wednesday, August 13th. We're out here in Northwest Illinois. We're actually at Todd's place right now getting loaded up. We're loading up the truck and the tractor, actually, and we're going to head over to our lease, which is a few miles away, so it's going to be a drive to get over there, and we're going to plant some food plots today. So let's do it.
Well, there's always a first for everything. This is the first time that we've ever taken this tractor about an hour and 15 minutes to another piece of property to be able to get a food plot in, but this particular spot panned off pretty good for us last year. We attracted a lot of deer to it, had a great shot on Christmas Day of Baconator. Well, we're hoping here now that it's the second year that there'll be a plot here. Hopefully some of these deer are a little bit more trained, a little bit more familiar with coming to this spot here. So we're gonna get some Heartland Wildlife brassicas in the ground. We just got done fertilizing. We did one little extra shot of spray to kill whatever was here, so we're ready to go. We're gonna get this in the ground and move to plot number 2.
All right, guys, something we're gonna do a little bit different this year than we did last year up in this plot. Last year we actually used the drill to drill the turnips in up here. This year we're gonna broadcast them. We got a bag of Buckbuster brassicas from Heartland Wildlife Institute, and this covers about a ½ acre. This food plot's a little bit over a ½ acre, so we're just really going to do this top part, and then we're going to let the sides just mostly be wheat and oats. So hopefully this will turn into a good late season spot for us. I also want to give you guys a little bit of a closer look at the stand location that we picked for this food plot last year, which was a good spot. Hard to hunt because of the wind, but overall kind of give you our thoughts behind it. And what you're going to see is on the left-hand side of where you're looking is going to be a big steep hill. It's a big bedding area. Giant valley, runs for about, I don't know, quarter mile or so. Deer love to bed in there. So what they're doing is they're coming up out of that big valley, up onto this top, and hopefully going to be feeding in our turnips.
This is one of our hot spots we think for this year. Justin and I definitely took a year to figure this spot out here, but this is a knoll top up here. We got a trail camera not too far up here, coming around the corn. Buck 48, 148 images, 100% battery life. Stealth cam seems to be working really well, these new G30s, guys.
All right, guys, we finished our second food plot, and before we got out of here for the day, we decided to check a few trail cameras and move a few cameras around. So as you can see behind me, we just put a camera up here in a tree on a stick and pick. And one tip for you guys to keep in mind, it's mid-August, which means the deer are going to be changing their feeding patterns here pretty soon. They've been on beans and hay and alfalfa a lot all summer long. They're going to be coming off those food sources. They're going to be hitting the corn pretty hard soon. So what we're doing is we're actually moving a lot of our trail cameras around to try to catch those deer as they transition from one food source to another, so we have a better idea of where they're going to be at during the fall. So they came in here last year and did a bunch of brush clearing. So they pushed a big pile of brush up here behind me. What it's doing is it's funneling these deer right through this little open area, right out into this cornfield. So we got this trail camera hung here, and hopefully we're going to be able to catch a few deer moving through here. We're going to have some standing corn come late season, and we're hoping this is going to be one of the spots where we're going to kill a deer. So hopefully this trail camera tells us there's a big one in the area. But that's about it for today. We're going to get packed up. We're going to get heading home. We'll be back in a month to check the cameras and check the status of the food plots. Hopefully they're growing. Hopefully we get some rain. So let's get packed up and head home. The seeds are in the ground, Todd. Now all we need to do is pray for a little bit of rain. It was about a week ago we planted It's been real dry out there lately. Fortunately, we got a little bit of rain last night. Looks like we've got some more in the forecast for the next couple of days. So crossing our fingers that we get a little bit of water out there so that our plots actually grow.
Well, we did everything that we could to get those plots to grow for sure. There's no guarantee just because you're hunting over a plot, those bucks are going to come in there. I mean, look at that picture of Baconator that we had in this episode. You know what? It was on Christmas morning. We both agreed 100 times that no matter what we do, we're not going to be able to hunt Christmas morning. But you know what? You just never know when a buck's going to step in one of those plots. Justin, I'm hoping you shoot that deer this year. You heard it right here. I may even let that deer walk if Justin's hunting with me on that day.
We'll see about that.
You heard me say it.
So, well, our plots are in the ground. We got stands hung, cameras are out. We're pretty much just waiting for the season at this point. We'll probably get back out there one more time to do one last camera check, maybe a little bit of stand moving around, and then we're going to let it be till the season. And Todd, when we were done with our plots there, we went over to your place, and I was able to see firsthand, the difference that plot saver fence, along with the electric fence, made between your beans inside the fence that were 2 feet tall and the ones outside the fence that looked like my grass after I mow it at my house. I mean, it truly was amazing to see that firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first year that I've taken and done that beyond just the utilization cage. And Justin, you're right. I mean, it makes a tremendous difference. If you have a small plot or you're trying to get something established and you got a high deer density, I would highly recommend, the Plot Saver product for sure. So, you know what? This is the first year that when we were done with that, we were able to get out, do some scouting around, take a look at what we saw. Justin, I'll tell you what, that's the first time I've ever seen a deer with that big of a tumor. And I'm calling it a tumor, but honestly, I don't even know what it was. I mean, it was, honestly.
It was crazy. That's what it is. I have no idea how that deer is even making it out there, moving around, and hasn't been, eaten by the coyotes yet. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it really is. One of the fun things, too, about being able to have the time to drive around and scout for deer in this time of the year, it is fun to see those different bachelor groups of bucks, and there's no guarantee that those deer are going to be there, and some of those areas aren't exactly even close to where I hunt. There may be a mile or two away, but you just never know when one of those deer are going to come
passing through. Well, the summertime, the deer, they're so visible, especially the bucks. We, as hunters, chasing whitetails, we all like to see deer with big antlers, and there's no better time to do it than just drive around during the summertime, glass those fields, see those big bucks, and it kind of, gets you amped up for the season. It's kind of like looking at trail camera pictures, but in real life, right? The deer are alive. So that was pretty cool. That's all the action we've got for this week's episode. Of course, before we go, we want to take a couple seconds to thank the people who sent in their trophy photos.
Eric Jensen,
Dan Shahan,
Emma Nicholson,
and Kevin Lee. Hey, congratulations, everybody. Those are some great trophies. As we always say, if you want to see yourself right here in an episode of Bowhunt or Die, email us your photos. We'll try to get you into one of the upcoming shows. Now, Todd, with all that being said and out of the way, the season is coming very quickly. It'll be just under a month, actually, until Wisconsin opens.
Which, Justin, I know for me, and I know for you too, it's definitely very therapeutic. I mean, there's something about just having the season open and to be able to get out there and all the stuff you've planned for and you thought about, just whether you're shooting deer or not, getting out there, jumping in a stand, it's the best.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said for tree stand therapy time and being able to just enjoy nature and clear your mind. Speaking of tree stands, Todd, before we go, last thing that I want to say is, August is National Tree Stand Safety Month. Obviously this is the time of year where a lot of us are out hanging stands. So guys, please, if you're out there hanging tree stands, Make sure you wear your safety harness at all times. Use a lineman's belt when you're hanging your stands. Use a lifeline in all of your stands if you can. That way you're attached from the time you leave the ground until you come back down. You know, now is the time to definitely be thinking about that stuff before the season comes. You know, just, you know, be sure to be smart out there and practice good tree stand safety.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for an accident nowadays with all the products that are available. I mean, it literally is just a matter of taking the time to put them on and use them.
Yeah, and it's really not as bad as some people try to make it out to be. So that's all we've got for this episode of Bowhunt or Die. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. We'll have some more hit lists and hopefully some other exciting action for you.
In the meantime, don't forget to check out facebook.com/bowhunting for daily updates, news, photos, and other exciting information. We want to hear your opinions and your stories, so join us now and like us on Facebook.
Or can't always have the right wind for your plot, but if you figure out how the deer are getting into the plot, you can set up for them and hopefully try to kill them. That was way too long and we're not going to use it.